Easy Girl viewers అందరికీ వెల్కమ్ అండి. Today we are going to discuss about internal structure of heart. It is one of the important topic in a biology subject class 10. So CBSE, mainly CBSE and TG and AP syllabus. So it is one of the important topic, internal structure of heart. Today we are going to discuss about internal structure of heart. So heart is located, it is the one of the important organ in our body. Our heart is located between lungs in the chest cavity. Heart is protected by rib cage, and our heart size is our fist size. Our fist size. So heart is pear in shape and triangle in outline, and upper part of the heart is wider and lower part of the heart is narrower. Upper part of the heart is wider and the lower part of the heart is narrower. Okay, heart is covered by two membranes. The two membranes are called pericardium. Pericardium. Heart is covered by two membranes called pericardium. So it is also called pericardial. The membranes are filled with pericardial. Membranes are filled with pericardial fluid. Pericardial fluid which protect the heart from mechanical injury. So heart is covered by two membranes are called pericardium. The two membranes are filled with the fluid is called pericardial fluid. Pericardial fluid. Okay, now heart is divided into four parts by groups. So heart is divided into four parts. So upper two parts and lower two parts. So total it has divided into four chambers. So right side, anterior part of the heart, right side, right atrium or right auricle. Right atrium or right auricle. Next, posterior part of the heart. Right side of the posterior part of the heart is right ventricle. And left side of the heart. Left side means anterior part of the left side of the heart is called left atrium or left auricle. And posterior part of the heart, left side of the posterior part of the heart is called the chamber is called left atrium, left ventricle or left ventricle, okay, left atrium or left auricle, and the lower chamber is called left ventricle. Total heart is divided into four chambers. Heart is divided into four parts by groups, four chambers. Upper two chambers are called auricles or atrium. Lower two chambers are called ventricles. Okay, now we will discuss the major blood vessels of the major blood vessels which are arise from heart. So total five major blood vessels which are arise from heart. So one is systemic aorta. Systemic aorta. This is the largest blood vessel. So arise from heart. Systemic aorta. Next superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Next inferior vena cava. Next pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein. Next pulmonary artery. Total five. So systemic aorta. Next superior vena cava. Next inferior vena cava. Next pulmonary vein. Next pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. So total five major blood vessels. Okay, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, next systemic aorta, superior vena cava, and inferior vena cava. Total five major blood vessels. Now we are going to discuss the function of five major blood vessels and their and the chambers. Okay, now so superior vena cava. superior vena cava, the vein which is end of the anterior end of the heart, which collect the blood from upper parts of the body. Upper parts of the body means upper parts above the heart. What are the parts are there in our body? Okay, mainly head and neck, which collect the blood. The blood vessel, vein, superior vena cava. It is a vein which collect the blood from upper parts of the body. Upper parts of the body means above the heart. What are the parts are there mainly? So head and neck, which collect the blood and empty that blood in a right atrium. Right atrium. Next, inferior vena cava. The blood vessel which is coming from posterior end of the heart. Posterior end of the heart. Posterior end of this means what? Posterior end, and this part is anterior. Posterior end of the heart, which collect the blood from lower parts of the body, mainly lower parts means like legs and abdominal cavity. So from the excretory system, reproductive system, digestive system, and also upper arms and lower arms, hands and legs, which collect the blood. The blood is collected by inferior vena cava. It is a vein which collect the blood from lower parts of the body, inferior vena cava, and empty that blood. So deoxygenated blood, both superior vena cava and inferior vena cava collect the blood from the body parts. What type of blood? What is that blood? Deoxygenated blood, rich in carbon dioxide. Rich in carbon dioxide. Both the blood vessels emptied their blood in a right atrium. Right atrium. Next, we'll discuss about the other blood vessels like pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein, right side right pulmonary vein and left side left pulmonary vein. Right side right pulmonary vein and left side left pulmonary vein. These are the two blood vessels collect the blood from lungs. Oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood. Left side left pulmonary vein, LPV, left pulmonary vein, and right side right pulmonary vein. Both are collect the blood from lungs and emptied their blood. Their blood emptied their blood in a left atrium. Left atrium. Okay, now. So right pulmonary vein and also left pulmonary vein collect their blood from lungs. It's what oxygenated blood, rich in oxygen. The blood is collected by these two blood vessels, emptied their blood in a left atrium. Next, so superior vena cava collect, inferior and superior vena cava collect the deoxygenated blood, and pulmonary veins left side and right side pulmonary veins collect oxygenated blood. Now we are going to discuss how the blood is flows from one chamber to another chamber. So now, so the blood is collected by the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava emptied their blood in a right atrium or right auricle. When the upper two chambers moves inwards, contraction. The blood flows from the upper two chambers to lower two chambers. Blood flows from upper two chambers to lower two chambers through valve. There is a valve between a there is a valve. The valve is present on a right atrioventricular septum. Right atrioventricular septum. This septum is called the membrane which divide the chambers is called a septum or septa. So there is a valve. The valve is present between a right atrium and a right ventricle. Present between the right atrium and a right ventricle. valve is present on the right atrioventricular septum between right atrium and right ventricle. The valve is called a tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. So it is also called a right atrioventricular valve. Right atrioventricular valve. Blood flows from right atrium to right ventricle when the upper two chambers are contraction, means moves inwards. The blood flows from right atrium to right ventricle through a valve is called a tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve is also called right atrioventricular valve. And here also deoxygenated blood in left atrium, left auricle. When the upper two chambers are contraction, the blood flows from left atrium to left ventricle. Left atrium to left ventricle through a valve. The valve is present on left auriculoventricular septum between left atrium and left ventricle. The valve is called a mitral valve. Mitral valve. It is also called a bicuspid valve. Bicuspid valve and also left atrioventricular valve. LAVV. Left atrioventricular valve. So from these two, from upper two chamber, like a left atrium, from here oxygenated blood flows into left ventricle, and from here deoxygenated blood from right atrium to right ventricle. Now the blood is in lower two chambers. Lower two chambers. In this deoxygenated blood, in this oxygenated blood. In this deoxygenated blood and in this oxygenated blood. So deoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood will not be mixed. Why? Because there is a membrane, the membrane which prevent or avoiding the mixing of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. The membrane is called septa or septum. Left two chambers and right two chambers separated by a membrane is called septum. Septum. Our upper two chambers, lower two chambers are separated by membrane is also called septum. Septum. Septa means plural, septum means singular. Okay, now the blood is in lower chambers. Left ventricle, oxygenated blood, and right ventricle, deoxygenated blood. So when the lower two chambers of contraction means moves inwards due to muscle contraction, the blood flows from right ventricle to pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. Right ventricle to pulmonary. The blood pumps into, flows in. Blood flows from right ventricle to pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery, right side right pulmonary artery, left side left pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery divided into two uh, blood vessel like right side right pulmonary artery, left side left pulmonary artery. Carry the blood towards the lungs for purification. Okay, when the blood flows from right ventricle, so the blood flows from right ventricle to pulmonary artery through a valve. The valve is called pulmonary valve. Pulmonary valve, which is present in the pulmonary artery. The valve is called pulmonary valve. So we may listen that sound lub dub. So how it is, we may listen. What is how it is produced? The sound we will discuss. Okay, pulmonary wall. Okay, when the lower two chambers are contraction, means moves inwards from right ventricle to blood flows into the pulmonary artery, and here also left ventricle from left ventricle the oxygenated blood flows from left ventricle to systemic aorta. Systemic aorta. Okay, here also there is a blood. Here also there is a wall. The wall is called a systemic wall. Systemic wall. SV. I have written here. SV. Systemic wall. Okay, when the lower two chambers are contraction, means moves inwards, the blood flows into the valves, into the pulmonary wall, pulmonary artery, and also systemic aorta by the through the valves. Okay, the valve is called pulmonary valve and also systemic valve. This valve is called what? Systemic valve. Okay, then systemic aorta. Systemic aorta, it is the largest blood vessel. Blood flows from upper two chambers to lower two chambers through valves like a tricuspid valve and a mitral valve. So at that time, the blood flows from lower upper two chambers to lower two chambers, and the valves will be closed forcefully. So at that time, we may listen a sharp sound is called a lub. A sharp sound is called a lub. And now, when the lower two chambers, when the blood flows from lower two chambers to pulmonary artery and also systemic aorta through valves, pulmonary artery, pulmonary valve, in a systemic aorta, systemic valve, forcefully closed. When the blood flows into the pulmonary artery and also systemic valve, the blood vessels, the valve will be closed with a force. The force is called and the sound is called dub. Okay, here we may listen a sharp sound is called a lub. And so this is about internal structure of heart and their chambers and also the major blood vessels. So heart is covered by two membranes called pericardial membranes and pericardium. Uh, Pericardial membranes or pericardium, okay, filled with pericardial fluid, which protect the heart from shocks and jerks and mechanical injury. So even heart chambers also, muscles also require blood, oxygenated blood supplied by coronary blood vessel. It is one of the important point, coronary blood vessel. So thank you for the all the viewers. So subscribe the channel, share the channel, and like the channel. Thank you.